Look, I'm gonna be honest. I don't like Chris Brown, and no, it's not because of the Rihanna situation. It's about the many other things that he's been involved in. For some reason, Chris Brown has been getting a lot of glaze lately, and as much as I want to say, "Oh man, this guy is the king of R&B, whatever it is," this is not true, bro. Not only is he making very meteoric music as of lately, also dropping albums as long as the fucking Lord of the Rings trilogy, he is also just a horrible person. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I remember seeing the videos of him taking pictures with various women and people spending thousands of dollars just to have a picture with Chris Brown. And that's still happening to this day. And it's fucking insane because of his long, very strenuous, very crazy long history with abuse and being violent, his violent tendencies with women and men alike. And it's so interesting how people are constantly trying to defend everything that he does while also is very excited when he is free, even though you know that he probably did those things. Now, I'm not going to say that everything that he's accused of is true, but I'm saying there is a pattern. When the situation with Rihanna happened in 2009, everybody said, hey, listen, not only is he bipolar and he has post traumatic stress, he was going through a tough time and he wasn't taking his medicine. We didn't know what he had at that moment. And to be fair, we're gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. Although what he did was deplorable and we still make jokes about it to this day, if that was his only case, that would be perfectly okay. But there has been so many allegations of him purposely getting women drunk, drugging them, and just recently what he just now got, he went to jail for was allegedly putting something in a prostitute's drink, and as you can assume. So I just don't understand this back and forth in love for Chris Brown, especially while he is pretty much a horrible person. I remember seeing a lot of videos and clips and all that of Kai Cenat having him on his platform, which again, I have a major problem with, but that is neither here nor there because, again, I am a person with a small platform, and I understand that when I'm talking about these celebrities, people might be jaded. But I just want to remind you guys that this is not the first time he has these crazy allegations against him. Actually, he recently got into a lot of legal trouble because he allegedly put hands on a fan who was trying to take a picture after a concert, and he, along with a few other goons, went and ran down on this individual. And again, if you guys don't believe me, here's proof, articles, whatever you want to call it. These are all things that are public and it's not necessarily being talked about enough when it comes to the conversation about him. And again, I am only looking at patterns here. If I see a guy who is constantly doing wrong things, I am going to think he's the wrong guy. And if I'm being honest, that is how I feel about Chris Brown. Like it or not, he is a staple in music in general, and I completely understand. At his age, being 35, 37, still being able to put on shows and dance around and sing, and that is very commendable. That is amazing. I understand that talent is holding him together and keeping this popularity running. There's also the incident with Quavo, which he had a beef, and everybody pretty much assumed that he won because Quavo is not necessarily a lyrical rapper, and he really can't hang with people who actually can, keep a beat. But it's just I don't like this road where we are putting these artists and people who have influence over a lot of other people, and it's just weird. I don't like it, and I feel like it needs to be talked about more, especially because this person with this much power has been known to abuse his power and tried to dominate women and people around him by using violence or whatever other means he can. And it's just very interesting how we are sitting here celebrating a person with such a long background of abuse. And again, I feel like him and to a lesser extent Tory Lanez are kind of like in the same ballpark where people feel like they cannot do wrong even though they have committed multiple heinous acts. And I remember when the Tory Lane situation happened, and then just so happened that Chris Brown also got charged with doing something to another woman in, London or something like that. It was very interesting to see how many Chris Brown fans ran to his defense and saying, hey man, this guy needs to be free, blah, blah, blah. You guys don't know the whole story. And then when the whole story went out and he's convicted and he's going to jail on these situations, those same people say nothing. And again, I don't necessarily respect anybody that would put this guy on any type of platform where he is able to do more harm than good. I don't see him changing anytime soon, and it's beginning to be a real problem, especially in the landscape of music, because if we're allowing him to go past, then people like Diddy can just run past and do whatever they want. But hey, that is just my take. This is how I feel. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. Let me know. And if you guys have hate for me, just let me know in the comments. I probably won't say anything.